Hello there. Welcome to another Creaker Gamers Battle Report. It's Warhammer the Old World.
Okay, g'day viewers. Welcome to another little short battle report, but I'll go on a bit of a explanation about the comp system and so on that I played under last weekend at the Exiles Wargaming Club in Marrickville, which is a very nice venue. But as you can see from all the influences on the interwebs, there's a lot of different comp systems out there. And with the release of Cathay, etc., I think if you've played against them and so on, that you can agree that the game is quite busted at the moment with the unkillable vampire armies and the balloons, etc. All right, so there wouldn't be all these different comp systems out there unless we thought that the game was busted, and it is quite broken at the moment, without being too negative, but nobody wants to play against the exact same sort of undead, unkillable armies and balloons just dropping bombs on you and flying away. So this was Play All Nice With Our Toys, another comp system, and this is version 1. So he's just testing it out. Dave at the Exiles Club has come up with this system, and I quite like it. So not all comp systems are perfect. Some are quite stupid. I won't go into that, but this one seems pretty good. So let's have a look. He's got a 10-point plan, and this is only version 1, so he's refining it. But I was quite happy to play under this comp system. It did, stuff up my army a little bit. We'll talk about that, but let's go through the 10 points. So the first one is he's got Lord level characters, and they're limited to 2 items, and all other models are 1 item. So you can't have a Lord with so many different items, etc. And I think you can only have a ward save or a regen save. You can't have both. The common magic items, he restricted them to 0 to 1, just to stop that stupid ring of jet. Whose idea was that? But anyway, so extremely common magic items are 0 to 1 choices, except for things like power scrolls, etc. All right, and then up to 4 levels of wizardry per 1,000 points. So you could have 8 levels of wizardry in a 2,000 point army. But he does restrict lords, so you can't have the double level 4 necromancer and just raising up everything, making your undead army unkillable. Whoever thought that was a good idea? Lord level characters can only be selected once per 1,500 points. So at 2,000 points, you can only have 1 Lord level type character. So you can't have a double necromancer. You can have a vampire and a necromancer, but not the double necromancer. All right, character mount choices are once per 1,500 points. So you can't have 2 Star Dragons in a 2,000 point game, or in my case, 2 Wyverns. Fair enough, and his example there is a Royal Pegasus. So it just limits you spamming those, super tough mounts. No non-character unit over unit strength 20, except for regular units, and he limits missile units and so on. So that basically means a Graveguard unit can only be up to unit strength 20. Which sort of limits my Orcs, because I've been given my units of 30 boys bows, but they can't have bows if they want to be 30. No non-character unit over 400 points, so you can't build your Death Star of unkillable Chaos Warriors or Dwarf, whatever, and put all your characters in there. He sort of limits how many characters you can put in a unit in the player's pack as well. And for each missile weapon unit or shooting unit, you have to have a non-shooting unit. So it just limits that as well. So that sort of, we'll have a look at my list later on, but it just stops you having just all shooting units. So you have to have some combat in there as well, some combat blocks. So that's a good idea. Each core unit can only be selected once per 1,000. So in a 2,000 point game, you can't just spam all your core units. You can have 2 of each. So I can have 2 boys and 2 night goblins and a black orc unit, and so on. So that sort of restricts spamming core units. And same with specials and rares. They can only be once per 1,500 points. So in a 2,000 point game, I couldn't have my double Necrosphinx or my double Doom Diver or whatever, or whatever you're going to have in the specials and rares. So it just stops you spamming things, which is a good thing. And there's the list of his Lord level characters. So he had a 10-point plan, and then he's made certain things count as Lord level choices, just to stop you spamming those sorts of things. So the main thing probably in vampires, you can't have the double level 4 necromancer, which is there's the vampires. So you got Cairn Wraith, Master Necromancer, Ghoul King, Vampire Count, White King. I think he's put things in there about battle standard bearers, etc. But that's fair enough. We need to define Lord level characters. And the last thing here is our characters. This is what he had this in the players pack. So you can have your general and BSB in a unit, but you can't sort of put 2 Lord level characters in a unit with the BSB and so on. All the bells and whistles are making a unkillable Death Star, which is no fun for anybody facing it. All right, so and that was the scenarios, and you had to have a core unit in close order formation or open order, so no skirmishers could score. I think he's since changed that in his next version, that you could have non-core infantry scoring, which is good. So things like Great Swords or Phoenix Guard could score, and so on. And there's my list. So how did it affect my normal list? Well, the Great Keef on his Wyvern, he wasn't allowed to have a ward save and a regen save, so that sort of kept him at 3 up, 5 up save. And I had my Weird Knob. My Black Orcs, they didn't really affect them because I usually only run 18. My Night Goblins, I couldn't give them short bows because they were units of 30, so they became my combat Night Goblins. And my Orc Boys, I usually give them bows, so I just dropped them down to the size 20, so 20 in there, but I should have just kept them at 30 and dropped the bows probably. And then I had to have, I got 4 shooty units and 4 combat units. So the Doom Diver, I couldn't have 2 Doom Divers. I had to have a Doom Diver and a Rock Lobber, so that was fine. I just sort of changed my list around a little bit, didn't sort of make it to the comp, but just to fit in the restrictions. Anyway, it's pretty much my normal army, except maybe the boys. I would usually run units of 30 with bows, war bows, but I made them units of 20 with war bows. So I thought that'd be interesting. I'll see how they go at units of 20. All right, let's get on with the battle report. Let me know what you think of his comp system. He's got version 2. He's working on now. So if he puts on another comp with that on, I'll go and try that out as well. All right, let's get on with the battle report. All right, so round 1 we've got an Orc Civil War. I'm facing the Troll the Horde, and he's got a little unit of Spider Riders, and I think that's his battle standard on a Frenzied Chariot. So he's got his chariots have got Frenzy and some River Trolls. That's his big block of Savage Orcs, and he's got his Shaman in there, just there. So that's a big block of Savage Boys, some Stone Trolls, and then this guy there, the old Rogue Idol, is posing as his Bone Grinder Giant. And I asked each player as I went around what changes they made for the comp system, and here's his Boar Boys. You just had to reduce them down to unit strength 20. I think that was the only thing he had to do, and he's got another Frenzied Chariot out on the flank there. So the Troll Horde versus my boys. There's the Orcs. There's my units of 20 Arrow Boys with light armor, shields, and war bows. And I wasted a lot of points here. That one's got the Razor standard. This one here's got the Spider banner. I mean, it's worthwhile on a unit of 30, but a unit of 20 doesn't put out that much firepower. My level 4 Shaman's in the Spider banner unit. There's my Combat Night Goblins, 2 units of 30 with shields, 3 Fanatics in each. The Hoppers, the Great Keef up the back, and my War Machines. And so that's this. And the scenario, there's 4 objectives. We're both sitting on one, and there's one at either side. All right, so the roll-off, the Troll Horde wins the roll-off, and they're going first. And I think Troll Horde's a very difficult army to play. You've got to set it all up properly so that you can re-roll your stupidity tests with the spells, etc. It's far too complicated for me trying to work out And when you do move the trolls up, so he's moved the river trolls up there, he's got to make sure that he gets his general and wizard up there in range so that he has a chance of passing the stupidity test. So I think the trolls aren't that good anyway, and stupidity just it's too hard. I don't have many trolls, so that's my excuse for not trying the troll horde out. It's too hard with all that stupidity, and then they don't do so great anyway, I don't think, the trolls. So this is round one, and he sort of moved up the ball boys. They're frenzied, I think, and so I'm going to just try and shift my night goblins back to not give him a charge, because they do hit pretty hard, ball boys. I hardly ever run my ball boys. I have trouble keeping cavalry on the table. So so you look at that shot there, I've just shuffled back as far as I could with those night goblins, because they don't want to get charged by the ball boys, or at least make it maybe a long charge for him. And I think he's got, here we go, he's got a level 2 wizard in there. Oh, my Doom Diver had a good shot. The Doom Diver here is showing off that he had a good shot, and he put 3 wounds onto the Bone Grinder Giant. And then these trolls have moved up, and we might be getting close to turn 2 now. I've put the Foot of Gork out there. That Foot of Gork there didn't move. It just didn't scatter at all for like the first 4 turns. All right, and then turn 2, he's out of charge range most places, so he's just going to move up and put pressure on me. I didn't want to get charged by the Bone Giant. It looks like a bone giant, the Bone Grinder Giant. So he's up on the hill, so I'm going to drop another rock on him, but not kill him. He's going to run around the rest of the game with 1 wound. So I had a bit of luck with my shooting. With the I think the Doom Diver got him twice. Did 3 and then 4 wounds or something. So his ball boys have moved up, and they're ready to go in. And I can't let the ball boys charge me, so the night goblins, these ones are going to charge his trolls, and the other night goblins on the left flank, my left flank, are going to charge. They're going to charge the ball boys. He came slightly too close, and I thought, I've just got to go for it here. So the night goblins, there they go. 1 unit went into the ball boys, put their fanatics through them, and the other one went into the trolls. So charging night goblins. They're actually not too bad. They've got Horde and Warband, I think. So they've got 3 ranks, because there's 30 of them. And they kill a few, but the combat res helps out. So, and also I've got my battle standard in that unit, just on the corner. So one of his trolls hits and vomits on my battle standard, but only does 1 wound. So my battle standard was lucky to survive. He's only 65 points or something. The Great Keith went up on the hill and charged a chariot. So the Great Keith's beating up a chariot. I forgot that they were frenzied. I thought his chariot would flee, but he's frenzied, so he couldn't flee. That's the downside of the chariots. So the Great Keith beats up a chariot. He likes beating up little things like that. And the Night Goblins make a mess of the ball boys. I think there's only 4 left at the end, and we break them, and the trolls are running away. So the Night Goblins have done pretty well. I've actually, I should paint up more Night Goblins with shields. They're not a bad little unit with the fanatics in there. And then here, the Black Orcs, I put them out on the flank. They can't score because they're not a native core unit. And so the Black Orcs are going to get beat up, as usual. I tend to put the Black Orcs into tough situations, and they get themselves in trouble. So I think we're probably, you can see the ball boys have broken. He's got 4 ball boys left. The Great Keith failed to his leadership test to be able to reform, so he's still facing the wrong way. He's broken the chariot, and he's running off there. And then over here, my Black Orcs are going to get triple charged by chariots, spider riders, and trolls. But they are stubborn. The Black Orcs, I always make them stubborn, so at least they can hold a charge from anything. And then his Bone Grinder's trying to decide whether he's going to go after the War Machines or... and these are my Arrow Boys. These are the Spider Boys, Spider Arrow Boys. They really didn't do much. I was trying to maybe kill a troll, but I didn't. And his Bone Grinder declines going after my Hoppers. He goes after my War Machines instead. And there's the big combat on the right flank. The Black Orcs get beat up here. And the Troll Horde does pretty well. They kill pretty much half the Black Orc unit, but I'm stubborn, so we hang on there. And then I make a big mistake and charge into the flank. So there's the Black Orcs. They fell back, stubborn. And I think he follows up with the Trolls and the Chariot. The Spider Riders decline to follow up there. Yeah, so the Chariot goes in. That's the battle standard boss with the Chariot in there. And the Trolls go in. And then over here, my Hoppers finish off his Boar Boys. So the Hoppers come in the flank, finish off the Boar Boys. And he's only got one Troll left there who goes stupid later on because he's got no friends around. His Savage Boys are moving up. And this was my big mistake. I sent the Arrow Boys there with I think that's the Razor Standard Arrow Boys into the flank. And then they're going to get flanked by the Savage Boys. So on this flank here is Bone Grinder has gone into my War Machines. And there you can see the boys helped out. They chased the Trolls off, but now they're going to get flank charged. And so I've sort of cleaned up the left flank. His Bone Grinder ends up off the table after beating up my... he's going to go into my Rock Lobber. I've tried to get it out of the way. So he goes after the Rock Lobber and kills that. And then the Savage Boys are going to go into the boys there. I failed to restrain and reform them. That's what I was planning to do. And so he's going to go into the flank. My level 4 Shaman's in there as well. So this is a big mistake. I shouldn't have bothered charging in the flank. I should have just left the Black Orcs to their own devices. But we did break these Trolls. These Trolls are going to run away and they're going to run off the table. And then the Black Orcs, there's only a handful of them left. So I'm going to lose the Black Orcs on the right flank. Over there, that poor lone Troll goes stupid in front of them and he's got Fanatics whizzing around him. So I think eventually we might kill that Troll. And the Great Keith turned around to come back to help, but it's all too late. All he's done is killed one Chariot. And I'm running out of Black Orcs. There's only 3 Black Orcs left. And I fled the charge in the flank from the Savage Boys. And my Arrow Boys, with my Shaman in there, they run off the table eventually. So those guys there they are. Is the Shaman still in there? I think he is. I can't see him. There he is. He's in there. There he is. He's there. Yeah, so that unit fled from the flank charge, and then they run off the table. And there's the Bone Grinder. He beats up by Rock Lobber. He runs off the table. He's only got 1 wound left. But then my Hoppers are waiting for him when he comes back on, and the Hoppers will charge him. And I finally get 1 wound onto him, and they kill him. So that was the main difference in the game. It was pretty close. The points were pretty close, except it was about 300 points different, which was the loss of the Bone Grinder, because I lost the Black Orcs. The Black Orcs all died. I did kill a few Trolls and things like that. And so it was a minor victory to the Orcs over the Troll Horde, but the only difference was the useless Bone Grinder. And I was lucky because I got a couple of rock lobbers on his head. I think a couple of Doomdiver shots on his head. So the Black Orcs die to the boss on the Chariot. He did pretty well. He's battle standard on the Chariot. And my Black Orcs couldn't finish him off. Did a few wounds to him. There's the Bone Grinder. He comes back on and the Hoppers charge him and get rid of him. And so that was probably pretty much the end of the game. It was pretty close in points. I haven't got the actual score here, but I think the difference was about 300 points. So it would have been a draw, except the Bone Grinder Giant came back on the table and got caught by the Hoppers. So that was game 1. So it was a good game, pretty backwards and forwards, except the only difference was I don't think he's worth 300 points. You compare him to a balloon or something. Giants, Bone Grinder Giants or normal Giants, they just don't seem to have it these days. They're a good fun piece, but no armor save, no regen, nothing like that. They're pretty easy to get rid of. All right, well, that's round 1 of the Exiles tournament. Next round we're playing Empire, so we'll see how we go. Let me know what you think of the comp system. If you think, what do you reckon is the best comp system? I have opinions about all the other comp systems, and this one seems to me like heading in the right direction, and he has simplified it in version 2, so we'll see how it evolves. But we do need some help with the game at the moment, I think. Alright, this has gone on long enough, so thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
This show is awful. Terrible. Disgusting.
See you next week.
Of course.